It was a blessed day when through these hallowed gates a stranger rode and delivered unto them a miracle.
What is that gadget?
This is an iPhone.
iPhone?
Uh-huh.
Hello? Hello? There's nobody there.
Get some mo.
Spread out.
Mind your P's and Q's.
Don't forget to dot the I's.
Larry
He's got a headache.
No, I don't.
How about now?
Yeah, it's coming on.
and Curly.
This little light of mine.
Hey guys! Yeah!
Oh, hiya, Sister Bernice. There's something different about you. Did you get a haircut?
From 20th Century Fox.
You got any dynamite? Come here.
The Three Stooges.
Hiya, Snook. I got your present.
Really?
Yeah, go on, open it.
It's Friday, and we talk about a movie that came out but something just didn't work. In 2012, a highly anticipated Three Stooges came out and it was panned by critics and rightfully so. The Three Stooges 2012 is a comedy film directed by the Farrelly brothers, starring Sean Hayes as Larry, Will Sasso as Curly, and Chris Diamantopoulos as Mo, who are raised in an orphanage and set out to save it from closing by raising $830,000, leading them into a murder plot and reality TV stardom. The PG-rated movie was released in the US on April 13, 2012, and follows the trio as they experience the outside world for the first. It tried to embrace the novelty of the original Three Stooges and mix it with plots similar to Blues Brothers. What worked was the cast. Will Sasso as Curly was a dream come true. The comedy was sophomoric but it worked. Now what didn't work? The inclusion of the Jersey Shore cast. Studios often want to include a mainstream pop culture, and this was clearly a dumb inclusion. The Farrelly brothers love movies but sometimes their execution misses the mark. Definitely this is front and center. The tribute to Blues Brothers, where the Stooges try to do good to save the orphanage but what they should have done was remain true to the Stooges and make the movie a tribute. I'm surprised they didn't reach out to Mel Gibson. Critics outlined the problems. Outdated humor and style. Critics and audiences found that the slapstick, vaudeville-style humor did not translate well to the 21st century. The relentless eye-poking and physical violence felt overly juvenile and dated to many modern viewers. Modify the comedy to be modern while paying tribute to the classic. Modern setting mishap. The decision to place the classic characters in a contemporary setting, including a plotline involving the Jersey Shore, was unpopular. Critics argued this took away from the charm of the original, which was rooted in a different era. As mentioned, the Jersey Shore inclusion was a dumb choice. Lazy writing and predictability. Many fans found the writing lazy, relying too heavily on repeating famous catchphrases and overusing the same antics, making the plot predictable and boring. Comedies have been slowly dying because of laziness and lack of taking risks. Irreplaceable originals. While the actors Sean Hayes, Chris Diamantopoulos, Will Sasso received praise for their performances, many viewers felt the magic of the original trio, Mo, Larry, and Curly, was impossible to recreate. The cast did a great job but the original crew just had a natural chemistry that cannot be easily replicated. Confused audience target. The movie seemed caught between being a nostalgic tribute for older fans and a reboot for younger audiences, failing to fully satisfy either group. This is actually a big problem in modern cinema. Well, hopefully someone tries with more success to allow newer generations to enjoy the humor of the Stooges. Now to the Wrestling Report. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Wrestling Report. Now to the TNA Impact results. 1. Jeff Hardy vs. Vincent. Jeff stomped Vincent at the bell. Jeff did a dive from the apron to the floor on Vincent. Back in the ring, Jeff caught Vincent with a kick. Vincent worked on Jeff's back. They traded punches. Jeff hit a series of moves on Vincent and got a 2 count. Jeff suplexed Vincent. Vincent attacked Jeff's back and got a 2 count. Vincent went to the top rope and the lights went out. When the lights came back on, broken, Matt Hardy was in front of Jeff. The lights went back out. When they came back on, Jeff was on the top rope and Vincent was laid out in the ring. Jeff hit the Swanton Bomb for TH pin. Dutch carried Vincent up the ramp. Winner: Jeff Hardy. 2. Mustafa Ali C with Order 4 versus Adam Brooks, TNA International title match. They traded the advantage early and battled on the floor. Ali caught Brooks with a rolling neckbreaker. Brooks did a dive to the outside on Ali. Back in the ring, Brooks continued on offense. Ali escaped a charging Brooks in the corner. Ali gave Brooks the 450 splash and got the pin. Winner: Mustafa Ali. 3. Rosemary and Ali and Mara Sade vs Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford and Mila Moore. This was Ali's in-ring return in TNA after 7 years. Rosemary and Crawford started the match. Hannifin said that Ali's return proves that anything can happen in the undead realm. Rosemary suplexed Crawford. Ali bit Crawford. Mara did a dive from the top rope to the floor on her opponents. C. Ali made the hot tag and ran wild on everyone. Mara took Mila down. Rosemary gave Mila a spear. Ali gave Mila a codebreaker and got the pin. Winners: Ali and Rosemary and Mara Sade. 4. Hometown Man vs Mr. Elegance with the Elegance brand. The concierge brought out Mr. Elegance. HTM got the early offense. HTM gave Elegance an airplane spin into a cutter. HTM punched Elegance on the ropes as the Elegance brand protested. Elegance gave HTM a spinebuster and a splash for a 2 count. The Elegance brand slapped HTM and rubbed a jersey in his face. HTM fired up and made a comeback. HTM dropped an elbow on Elegance. HTM gave Elegance a crossbody block for a 2 count. Ash got on the apron and distracted HTM. Ash closed her eyes and ended up kissing a HTM mask. HTM put the mask over Ash's face. Elegance used the distraction to hit his finisher and get the pin to remain undefeated. Winner: Mr. Elegance. 5. Elijah vs Frankie Kazarian. Walk with Elijah match, meaning they were tied together with an alleged guitar strap and the wrestler who drags the other to all 4 corners and touches all 4 turnbuckles is the winner. Per the rules, the match started backstage. They went face to face and the referees attached them to the leather strap. They traded punches and Elijah threw Frankie into a rail. The fight continued. Frankie put hand sanitizer in Elijah's eyes, then slammed a door on his arm. Elijah continued to throw Frankie into various backstage objects. Elijah picked up Frankie and headed towards the ring. When the action returned, Elijah and Frankie were fighting in the crowd. Elijah hit Frankie with the strap. Frankie whipped Elijah with the strap. In the ring, Frankie put on the chicken wing. They both touched the turnbuckles while Elijah was in the hold. Frankie took Elijah to the mat. Elijah caught Frankie with a leaping knee. Elijah whipped Frankie with the strap. Frankie recovered and touched 3 corners. Elijah stopped him from touching the 4th. Elijah went on offense and gave Frankie the tombstone. Elijah touched 3 corners, then smashed a guitar over Frankie's head. He touched the 4th corner and got the win. Winner: Elijah. Now to the wrestling news, the news that matters. The news that matters for wrestling fanatics. It appears AEW's Chris Jericho has joined the cast of Dexter, Resurrection Season 2. The singer, wrestler and actor adds to his entertainment resume. Kevin Nash has gone on social media remarking how TKO is disrespectful to the legends and specifically mentioned Undertaker and Steve Austin. Kevin Nash has become the next Bret Hart and seems to be a grumpy old man syndrome. It is obvious he's mad at everything because of the political climate, but it's more because he thinks he's an actor, so take that with a grain of salt. Smackdown preview for May 1, 2026. Cody Rhodes kicks off Smackdown and will address what's next, and the rumors are CM Punk. Ricky Saints makes his Smackdown debut. So the Revolution will be televised, starts tonight. Fatal Influence made a big impression last Friday, but tonight we get Jacy Jayne vs Charlotte Flair. The Sami Zayn and Trick Williams feud will move forward. US champion Tiffany Stratton begins her run, and who will step up? In more news, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is in discussion to a potential on-screen presence and involvement in WWE. Matches of the week. AEW World Title match. Darby Allin vs Brody King. The chemistry between the two just feels natural. The David vs Goliath concept is front and center, where Darby Allin's hardcore style is the perfect foil to the brute force of King. Plus it helps build future story. Wrestler of the week. TNA's Elijah. It's the small things that catches eyes, and Elijah is making the most of specialized matches catered to him. It's just a matter of time TNA goes all in with him. He's entertaining and athletic to be a future champ. Independent Wrestler of the Week. This is bit of a cheat because he's become an instant sensation this past Tuesday. Will Cruz, the big man who is light on his feet and has been the talk of the town. Many have compared him to the perfect blend of Will Ospreay and Gunther. For up-to-date results and news, check out Facebook Every Ring. That's everything wrestling. Now to the news. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now for the news that matters. The biggest news is the thousands in the US to join No School No Work No Shopping May Day protests in economic blackout. Again, with problems with schools where performances are failing really don't have a rope to hang on. Again, politics are ruining a broken system. The best to stop the snake is cut the head, so stop funding these morons. This communist technique is going to ultimately hurt students and businesses, for what? Notice the most compromised districts, Chicago, Minneapolis, New York and Los Angeles, are the ones screaming the loudest. All are facing economic problems but want more taxes yet cannot account the misused funds. In He Said She Said news, Iran claims they have sent a peace proposal but said the US is looking for desperate deals while the White House is claiming Iran is. Here is the problem: nuclear weapons is the goal and the smart approach is to stop the acceleration, yet liberals and a lot of enemies against democracy. Hilarious, now liberals are okay with those against democracy. Unfortunately, this will not end anytime soon because several administrations allowed this to bloated problem. In Who Didn't See This Coming news, communist darling Zohran Mamdani had an emergency meeting to report the city is bankrupt and there is no money, yet a month ago wanted free preschool for illegals. Honestly, how stupid are the voters of New York City who didn't see this coming? Imagine how much corruption is going on while he is filling his pockets, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Good news of the day. Weather are changing and remember we are living in a great world. To all those complaining life is hard. 1700s diseases and poor health, consumer society where children mortality rate was 60%. Poor living conditions with lack of sanitation and extreme overcrowding. Extreme poverty, where there were poor laws where people were sold and auctioned, no one takes about that. 1800s similar to 1700s but added hardships. Labor pushed people to the limits where average person worked 10 to 14 hours a day with zero rights and often in unsafe conditions. Life expectancy was only 43 years old, where children were forced to work at ages 10 to 12. Early 1900s similar to the previous UT added malnutrition was common and 1/3 of the population in the cities was suffering from starvation. Wars on the forefront and many suffered from the Great Depression where money and security was in conflict, where some suffered anguish from Nazism and whatnot. So, to all of the people complaining where liberals are pushing life is hard, remember people had it far worse and possibly we have become so spoiled that we only bitch and moan. How about stop complaining and embrace what is good? Well, to the favorite part of the show. Dumbass of the day, the evil incarnate who often claims how dare you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The best damn part of the show. Ruffling feathers is exactly what the point of this segment. Dumb ass of the day, Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg as dangerous stems from her expanded activism beyond climate change into geopolitical issues, specifically her vocal support for Palestine. Official designations: world's second most dangerous anti-Semite. In April 2026, the Israeli Ministry of Diaspora Affairs' 815 anti-Semitic incidents ranked Thunberg second on a list of the most influential figures promoting what it defined as anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist content. Police danger forecast. In October 2024, police in Dortmund, Germany, initially drew up a danger forecast, classifying her as a participant prepared to use violence to justify clearing a pro-Palestinian protest camp. Her siding with Palestine, but in the fashion she does it. The police later retracted this as an internal error. Reasons for the label stay danger, cited by various government agencies and critics, is primarily linked to use of charged language. Thunberg has consistently used terms like genocide, apartheid, and mass starvation to describe Israel's actions in Gaza. When she started, she was a young youth with passion. Now she's a ditchy Gen Z who lacks intellectual discussion on matters she has no clue. Influence and reach. The Israeli government report used a proprietary risk score based on her massive social media reach and global influence, noting that her status gives public legitimacy to the Palestinian cause. Direct action. Her participation in the Freedom Flotilla, a group of ships attempting to break the naval blockade of Gaza to deliver aid, led to her being detained by Israeli forces in 2025. Again, she's an anti-Semitic idiot who spews hate. The fact anyone supporting Palestine apparently never took a class in history. 1948, 5 Islamic nations attack Israel but got their asses handed to them. Now to the idiots who love buzzwords, genocide is used loosely. Palestine and Gaza started with 90,000 individuals, now it's around 2 million. So in genocide is a calculated execution to destroy a race while Palestine actually increases their population, disproves this concept. Anti-capitalist shifts. Critics on platforms like Reddit and in media outlets argue she has become more radicalized as an adult, viewing capitalism as the root cause of global injustice, which shifts her from a symbolic youth figure to a direct political challenge. She's one of the fame whores who started as a darling but now she is hungry for time with the stars, which is another idiotic group. Does anyone remember who got this mentality disabled dipshit famous? Climate change, how dare you forget, actually how can you, media shoved this troll down our throats. So, as a warrior for climate change, she has attacked fuel consumption, yet recently she's been fighting for Cuba to get more oil, so pollution isn't important today. She's a useful idiot who is more satanic than useful. Well, it's another episode, the weekend is here, so go out and enjoy it. Take a nice deep breath and find time to enjoy the little things in life.